Hey there, folks. Welcome back to that discount bin at your local toy store. I'm your host, Sid Phillips, and today I'm going to be customizing, this Iron Man figure. That's right, I'm all about customizing those discount toys that my wife picks up for me at the store. This Iron Man figure is no different. She found it at Walmart for $3 on the discount rack. Now, unlike the last couple of action figures that I customized, this one actually has some really nice detail to it. This is part of the Marvel Legends series and it has full articulation for each figure. It's definitely really good quality. This particular Iron Man figure is from the first Avengers movie, and it is the Mark 7 Iron Man suit. Now, one quick thing about this figure, since it already has a lot of really good detail to it, I'm going to customize it, giving it some battle damage. To do this, I'm going to be using some chisels and some sandpaper, and then I'll be doing my normal technique of weathering to bring out all of those already present details. So let's get to it. Anytime I walk through the toy aisles with my family, I always admire these Marvel Legends figures. I always thought how cool it would be to customize one. So, needless to say, when my wife found this marked down to $3, I was really pumped. The first thing I do with this figure, besides play with it, is to add some battle damage texturing. Like I previously mentioned, I'm using my wood chisels to do this. I used these in a similar manner with the Groot figure that I customized previously. Luckily for me, this figure is made more of the soft rubbery plastic, which makes it much easier to carve. To apply the damage, I am adding both a lot of random nicks, scratches, and gouges on the armor, along with some specific damage too, particularly on the chest and the shoulders. I paid very close attention to a lot of screenshots from the movie, and tried to mimic that as close as I could on the figure. Although, comparatively, Iron Man doesn't take quite as much damage as he does with his fights with Thanos, he still took quite a beating in the Battle of New York. So I'm just trying to replicate and show that. After I was satisfied with all the gouges, I switched over to sandpaper to scuff up the entire figure. Though I had to be careful and sand lightly, because that soft rubbery plastic doesn't really hold up too well to hard abrasion. Once all the texturing was complete, I got to work on painting. I concentrated mainly on all the gold accent areas. Now, while the factory paint was pretty good, I wanted to brighten it up a bit. Plus, some of the gold was scraped or scratched off, so I had to touch up those areas as well. You may or may not have already seen it, but I actually painted an Iron Man figure before. And I kind of feel like I'm cheating with this one because the amount of time and effort that went into painting the other figure was astronomically higher than what this one is. However, with this figure, as I've already said, I'm starting with a better base. So I'm more or less just accenting what's already there. While I finish up with the painting, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Iron Man and, I guess, the Marvel movies in general. Unless you've been living under a rock for the past few years, you have to have at least heard of Iron Man and/or the Marvel or Avengers movies. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, or the MCU as it's more commonly called, now consists of 23 movies spread out over the past 11 years, which is actually insane because it has existed for longer than my children have been alive. This set of movies is the most successful franchise ever, and with good reason, because while some titles are instant classics with the highest caliber of quality, even the worst titles are still passable, fun, and entertaining movies. So it's weird to think that 11 years ago, the future of this entire franchise hinged on the success of a movie about a character who, up to that point, wasn't very big. That character is, of course, Iron Man, who is now, arguably, the biggest and most popular comic book character ever, at least on the Marvel side. One thing that I've greatly enjoyed is the way that Iron Man's character arc has played out over the entire course of the movies. While he still retains that charming, snarky, self-confident, and somewhat arrogant personality, his character in Avengers Endgame is vastly different from what we saw in the first Iron Man movie. And to me, it's never felt forced. It's always felt organic, like you've seen the character changing and growing along the way. And if Spider-Man is any indication, it doesn't look like they're going to diverge from that formula anytime soon. Because with only 2 solo movies so far, we're already seeing that growth and progression of Spider-Man as a character as well. And it's always cool to see how much of an impact that Iron Man has on all the other characters. Even though he's not technically in the new Spider-Man movie, The presence of his character is still strongly felt, and the way that he impacts the decisions and the motivations of some of the characters, either through his heroic deeds or past failings, feels for the most part real and natural, which to me is a perfect indication of good storytelling, good writing, and good character development. Hey, speaking of that, I'd say that all of that battle damage and the scarring and the weathering has added a good deal of character to the figure as well. Let's take a look at him all finished up. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I am actually very happy with the results on this figure. With the inherent quality that was already present with this premium collectible, I had pretty high hopes for the end result, and I am definitely not disappointed. I had briefly considered designing and constructing a custom base to hold the Iron Man figure, but that would have required him to be in a static pose. And with all that articulation that I keep yammering on about, I didn't want that. He's got to be able to move.
Dread it. Run from it. Destiny still arrives. I wasn't playing. I was just testing it. Hey, haven't you ever heard of knocking?
You know, I gotta say, I'm definitely very happy with the results on this figure. The manufacturer did excellent work on this, and it made my job a lot easier. Although I still probably wouldn't pay the $20 price tag, I can absolutely see some of the benefits of paying for a premium product. Between the precision design and the full articulation of the figure, you're definitely getting a lot more for your money. Well, I guess that about does it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to like and subscribe below, share it with somebody, and maybe leave a comment. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
I am inevitable.
And I am Iron Man.
I am Groot.